They say good things take time, but I have no clue how long this is going to take because South Africa and Australia were playing each other for the first time in a Champions Trophy. And the wait has to continue because the match has been called off because of rain now. What does it do to the points table is what I'm most curious about. And I have, of course, Michael and DK with me, which we'll get straight into. Michael, I hope you've had a whole lot of rest and your knees rested because we let you come in easily into the Champions Trophy. But this is something exactly that England probably was praying for.
Yeah, great day for England, having not played, and obviously 1 point each for South Africa and Australia. I'm just trying to get my head around the fact that the sun's shining is here in Cheshire, Manchester, and it's raining in Rawalpindi, and the game's been rained off. So slightly bizarre circumstances, but yeah, disappointing when you get a game washed out. It's such a short tournament. I do like the Champions Trophy because it's the best against the best, but when you get a washout like this, it's really unfortunate on the two teams.
And this is the fourth time, DK, for Australia, a Champions Trophy game has been washed out. Clearly, it is something about the reigns and the Champions Trophy and Australia in the last 8 years. This is the fourth time it's happened. And and with South Africa, there should be an ICC tournament and there has to be some rain when there is South Africa and an ICC tournament.
Whenever there's a bit of rain as well, it seems to affect South Africa the most. Now that almost has gotten to a place where it's going to be a do or die against England if England beat Afghanistan tomorrow. And that team is going to have a straight shot at the semis. In a way, it's wrong. We're ruling out Afghanistan. But if Afghanistan beat England, then the whole scenario changes again. But if England has a good game against Afghanistan, then the winner takes it all when South Africa and England play against each other, which is not too long. It's on March 1st, the day before India's game, and that could be a very critical game for them. But this result has opened up all sorts of avenues for England. It gives them a straight shot, one which they wouldn't have envisioned a few days ago. But it's good. That's the beauty of these tournaments as well. Just like what Michael said, yes, it is sometimes heartbreaking because it's such a short tournament. One bad miss and things could change on its head. And that's exactly what's happened because of this result today.
It's a great result for England, but I think South Africa is going to be smiling as well because of the net run rate they have. But Michael, we have a look at that very positive net run rate because of that big game they had against Afghanistan. So now pretty much tomorrow's game becomes very important. But all in all, besides Australia, everyone will be smiling.
Yeah, whoever wins tomorrow gets that second kind of throw of the dice in their third game in the group, but it makes tomorrow a humdinger of a game. I mean, England have not been playing great. Afghanistan beat them in the 50 over World Cup in Delhi. I'm sure both teams will want to chase. We spoke about it pre-match about the dew coming into play. So both teams will want to chase, but Afghanistan beat England having got a decent score on the board and defended it, won by 63. So I'm intrigued to see how Afghanistan come back from batting poorly against South Africa. England batted nicely against Australia. The bowling was found out a little bit, but the dew played a big part in that. So I still feel that England, if they produce an 80% performance tomorrow, they can get the job done. But if the ball starts to grip and the batting in the afternoon, the likes of Rashid Khan and Nabi, we've seen what they've done to many teams, but particularly against an England side that struggled against spin. I don't think, even though I think England are favourites tomorrow, I still feel that Afghanistan, if they get the ball in hand in the afternoon, it just grips slightly, they'll cause a few problems for the England batting unit.
But DK, in the Champions Trophy, when there is, it's literally every game is so important, which is why the net run rate comes into play, which is so important for teams, and we see South Africa. But on a washout day like this, how frustrating is it for players? Because what do you do,
First thing, these days, most people, when they're not allowed to go outdoors, sit on the phone. And when you're in a cricket ground, you don't have the phone with you. So time can be very slow moving in that sort of a situation. Yesteryear players, a lot of the times, used to play some indoor cricket in the dressing room if there is enough space. I don't know what the dimensions of Rawalpindi dressing room is, but that's something they resort to. Some people like, I saw Joe Root, he draws on his iPad. I know he wouldn't have the iPad, but I'm assuming he would have done a bit of sketching. Some people just like to sit and chat. Some like to play cards. But I don't think anybody walking into that day today would have thought that rain is going to completely finish a game off. So it's very frustrating. At the back of your mind, no matter what you're doing, you have cricket. who you're going to bowl against, who you're going to bat against. Those duels are happening subconsciously, but we're not allowed to go to the ground. It can get at times a bit disarming because you want to do things that's associated with the sport, but you can't because of the situation you're in. But it is what it is. Frustrating, but at times as a team you gel together as well.
But Michael, any memories at all from any washout games which you think were, you were really happy, like he said, you get to gel with the team? Any nice memories you have from washout days?
Oh, no, I mean, I generally used to go on, there's so much cricket played as a captain. I'd go and sit with the coach and do some future planning, about the next tour, or might have to get involved in some kind of decision-making process with kit that's coming in the future. There's all sorts of meetings to be had. So you use a wet day, a rain day for a bit of admin. Matthew Hoggard used to be in charge of the shower cricket. He used to create all sorts of game in the shower with a little kind of rubbery ball that he would play with, producing all kind of doosras and mystery spinners. So he was the indoor kind of cricket specialist. There was always a card school going on in the corner, and then there'd be one or two just either sleeping or reading a book. So it was each to their own, but frustration because the players desperately want to get out there and play. This is a big trophy for all the teams, and when you get one game rained off, I mean, you talk about the net run rate in a funny kind of way, that gets nullified now in a way, because England win the last two games, they get to 4, it'll surpass one of these two teams. Afghanistan win their last two games, they'll get to 4 points. So in a funny way, that now the teams are down to an odd number, 2 on 3. It becomes quite a simple process that I don't think the net run rate will play too much of a part in this league process now.
So DK, basically with that points table, everyone needs to win everything they're playing. It's as simple as that.
True, we speak a lot about England because we feel they are the front runners right now with a chance after they've lost the first game. But actually Afghanistan were the dark horses in this team, in the tournament. They walked in with a lot of belief. The first game they were blown away, so suddenly we feel like Afghanistan is no more in the tournament. Actually, if Afghanistan win tomorrow, they'll fancy themselves to go a step further. Herein lies their chance to have 2 straight wins, and both teams they beat recently. They beat Australia as well. They've beaten in the World Cup, like he said, England team as well. So they have had success in the past against both the teams that they're going to play against, England and Australia. So they will fancy the chances as well. In a way, Group B has become a lot more exciting.
Yes.
With this result. Anybody who plays well from here on, there are 3 good days of cricket. Whoever plays the best in the next 3 days will get through, and that's a good place to be for all teams.
Well, that's what we started the show with. We said that Group A was pretty much signed and sealed, but Group B, we thought we'll see a lot of action today. We saw no action, but that still leaves that group completely open. Tomorrow, again, a very important game for both teams. Like Michael and DK was saying, Afghanistan take on England at Lahore. And it's a do or die, and both teams have to win. Michael, we go to you first. England. And what does England do? We've spoken about how the bowling has been an issue. Rihan Ahmed has come in as in place of an injured Bryden Cass. What changes do you see coming in?
Well, first and foremost, the replacement Rehan Ahmed for a seam bowling all-round is an indication that England are accepting that they got their squad kind of wrong in terms of the balance of not enough spin in the squad. I think Overton will come in against Afghanistan. I think they'll favour seam and pace on the ball to the Afghanistan batters over spin. If it was South Africa tomorrow, I think they'd probably go Rehan Ahmed, although Heinrich Klaasen's got such a power hitting ability against spin. I think they'll go Overton tomorrow against Afghanistan. They'll be preying on the toss. They'll hope to bowl in the afternoon and bat later on in the night, where we've seen in the last few games that batting under the lights, when that dew factor comes into play, it becomes that little bit easier. I do think the toss will play a big part. If Afghanistan win the toss and have England to bat in the afternoon, of course, we saw England power a big score against Australia, but they'll know that they'll need a decent number because Afghanistan will fancy chasing it down at night. But I'm intrigued. It's the pressure zone. You have to win a game. It usually takes in a World Cup quite a few games to get this to this level of real intense performance required. Well, it's come inside the first 2 games, and England and Afghanistan know tomorrow they have to arrive and produce their A game.
Michael, I have a massive question for you, very important one as well. What is that hanging over your right shoulder?
I was going to get to that as well. I was very curious.
Your right shoulder.
This shirt here.
Yeah.
I'll try and get it. I don't even know what it is. It's a.
Careful with your knee there.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry, my knee's good. I'll tell you what it is. the European Cricket League. And there's a
European
team
Cricket
called-
League.
Yeah, there's a team called Cluj. And they sent me a shirt with my name and number on the back.
Are you the
So
new
it's,
skipper?
Cluj Cricket Club. And our podcast, the Club Prairie Fire podcast,
Oh, okay.
with me and Gilly, we're their sponsors. That is the shirt that's been hanging on that lamp for quite a while. Thanks for reminding me of it.
No, I was very curious about the shirt and all the photographs behind as well. But all the black and white photographs look just so nicely done up. I was very curious about that. But we'll get to that maybe when Michael invites us to his house, whenever that happens, Michael.
I was just looking because I have a picture somewhere, and it's not in here. It's somewhere else of DK when you stumped me. Actually,
That's not a great picture to have in your drawing room.
no, but it's a great shot. It's not in here, but I do have that picture somewhere. I have a picture of myself up there on the wall there where I handled the ball. So that's on the wall. So there's some funny pictures behind me, but the one that I do like is you stumping me because I'm flat on my backside.
Well, DK has made it to Michael's photos on his wall, but tomorrow I don't think Rian Ahmed's making it because he's not going to reach in time for that do or die clash. So who do you see coming in instead of Brighton Cars?
Jamie Overton. He can bat a bit, he can bowl a bit, so he is a like-for-like replacement for Bryden Cars. Bryden Cars actually has had a good few months in white ball cricket. In fact, he did brilliantly in New Zealand in red ball cricket too. So, unlucky for him. But Jamie Overton is a very able replacement. He's been in decent nick. He's not the quickest of bowlers, but hits a good length and can bat a bit as well. So, hopefully they'll get a good performance from him. But like Michael said, the key will be who wins that toss because bowling second has been real hard work so far in Pakistan.
And Michael, 5 losses for Butler. How is he going to be? What kind of mind frame is he going to be in getting into this game?
Well, I mean, he's been speaking very positively about coming back, and he looks happy as the captain. I mean, there's a bit of noise about will he be the captain after this Champions Trophy. Only time will tell. I mean, you look at the last 2 World Cups, the 50-over World Cup and the T20 World Cup, England have been nowhere near what we've been used to. When you go back to 2019, when they were exceptional, then they won the T20 World Cup in Australia, just getting over the line against Pakistan, producing some good performance on that occasion. It's very difficult when you don't have a world-class all-rounder. When you don't have that real quality all-rounder, you go back to Ben Stokes, his brilliance. England don't have that anymore. Sam Curran's not within this white ball setup. Not too sure why. Liam Dawson, who I think is a wonderful left-arm spinning all-rounder, he could be in this setup. They've chosen not to go with him. Reece Topley's a left-arm seamer. They've not gone with him. So I'm not too sure England have got the right squad for these conditions. But in terms of Jos Buttler, I think it's very, very important that he gets a win tomorrow. He takes it till Saturday to the South African game. If England lose to Afghanistan tomorrow, I think there'll be a bit of noise about the white ball team and what's happened in the last 2 years in particular, where they've gone from being the world beaters, the team that everyone was trying to follow in terms of the way that they were playing, to now suddenly becoming a side that most teams around the world fancy beating. And it's just been with a few little personnel changes. And fundamentally, unfortunately, it always stems the flow of either a captaincy reign or a coaching reign. Matthew Mott lost his position. Baz McCullum's come in. And Jos Buttler's had that role for quite a few years now. So I've no idea how he's thinking. I think he's England's best ever white ball cricketer. So I'd hate to think that it's all down to him, because it's certainly not. It's a real collective of why England haven't been producing the magic that we saw a few years ago. But I do think it's a big few days for Jos Buttler.
Well, DK, looking into what Afghanistan's going to be thinking now, because it's a do or die for them as well. They have been one of my most favorite teams. I've rooted for them all the time. They are also a dark horse in a lot of people's predictions at Cricbuzz. Do you see any changes in their team?
Yeah, they might look to probably bring in, I'm not too confident saying it. Should they bring in another medium pacer? That's the only thing. Nangyal Kharoti is someone who obviously bowls a little bit of wrist spin / mystery, as they call it these days. But will they look to get another medium pacer in is the only question, because of the amount of due. Noor Ahmed didn't have his best game. That is the only thing. And they haven't wanted to play Noor Ahmed always. So that is the only question that they have. But won't be surprised if they go in with the same squad, knowing that England play fast bowling better than spin. So the conditions dictate something, the opponents are dictating one another way. So which way are they going to go is going to be a crucial one for Afghanistan. But the most important thing, they need the batting to fire more than anything else. They have a pretty decent batting lineup. One where a few players have actually got a lot of runs in franchisee cricket. You take Gulbuddin Naib, who was brilliant at the back end of the ILT20. Cricbuzz has been in good form for some time now, probably their most key player, most experienced as well. So can those batters fire against an attack which is quick? Mark Wood and Jofra Archer are actually bowling rapid. So can they stand up to that pace is the bigger question for Afghanistan.
But Michael, the toss becomes so important, especially when the due factor is so important. So if Afghanistan go into bowl second, then the spinners and that equation comes into play.
Yeah, I mean, if I was Afghanistan, I'd just go spin to win against England. They have to look at recent signs of how England have struggled against the spin. Even against Australia, Steve Smith used 7 bowlers, of which they used Matthew Short, Marnus Labuschagne, obviously Glenn Maxwell, Zampa. You could argue that Nathan Ellis bowled slow. He was bowling out the back of the hand slow balls primarily for his 10 overs, lots of cutters and tricks out of his hand. So if I was Afghanistan, I'd take pace off, use all their spin options. And as DK mentioned, it'll come down to the batting unit of Afghanistan. Can they cope with the pace up front of Archer and Mark Wood? England will bowl quickly, they'll bowl short, they'll bowl aggressively. They have these funky fields that we've seen in recent times with the white ball team. If they can overcome that and they can get to the 10th and the 15th over without too much damage, and then you get down to obviously the wonderful Adil Rashid, then they have to use the likes of Liam Livingstone and Joe Root. That's where Afghanistan will have a chance, but they could quite easily get blown away by that pace up front. So they're going to have to be strong, and that opening partnership really is the key for Afghanistan. If they can see off Wood and Archer and get that foundation and that platform, they can. And I don't know if it is a shock anymore. We keep saying, oh, if Afghanistan beat England, it would be a shock. They're one of the best 8 teams in the world because they've qualified for this tournament. So it shouldn't really be a shock in these conditions if Afghanistan do what they did to England in the 50-over World Cup. They've got some real quality players for these style of these conditions.
Also, Michael, you have a lot of photos, and I've been spending a lot of time with Saimi. Telepathically, I can see what she's feeling. She wants to know, is there a picture of you and Sachin Tendulkar? Otherwise, that invitation that you might send for her to come home might not be relevant.
I have actually on the wall here, and I can't get it off. It's of Sachin losing his balance when I bowled him through the gate.
Oh my God, Saimi, that's heartbreaking for her.
He is on the wall, but it's not in a Sachin Tendulkar shining light. It shines the light on my part-time off spin.
Oh, lovely.
But he's got you on the wall, DK, getting him stumped. So
that's not going to get you going for lunch to meet Michael. Sachin Tendulkar's photo, but it
no,
actually...
don't worry. When I go meet Michael, I'll frame a photograph which is otherwise with both of them and gift that to him. That will be my housewarming gift to you.
I've got Sachin's book. I have a book here with Sachin all over it. Yeah, Sachin is in this room. Don't worry, Sammy. He is well represented in this room.
All right. Well, Sachin is playing later today, so I want to quickly go to the players to watch out for tomorrow's game. DK, you go first.
For me, for England, Jofra Archer. He's a X-factor cricketer. He turns up the heat on the batters. I'm really looking forward to a fiery spell from him. From Bangladesh.
Oh, but it's Afghanistan.
Sorry, from Afghanistan. I was thinking of an Afghanistan player as I say Bangladesh. From Afghanistan, Rahmanullah Gurbaz. He is going to face the heat of Jofra Archer. Is he going to come out trumps and play those attacking shots where he steps out and looks to tonk a fast bowler? That'll be a big one.
Michael, for you.
Rashid Khan, no question against England. A bit of mystery spin. I mean, all the England players have faced a lot of Rashid Khan. Can he do what Chakravarti did to England just a couple of weeks ago in India? He's certainly got the skill levels to do so. From an England perspective, I just think Duckett's, shown in the last game what a brilliant player he is across all the formats. And against the spinners, Duckett and Root are England's 2 best players of spin. And I would think that one of those 2 is going to have to get the big score for England to get that monster score once again. I have to say, Ben Duckett's becoming one of my favourite players to watch. I just think he makes batting look so easy. He makes it look so simple. He lets the ball come right under his eye line. He's only a little chap, but he's got a bit of muscle, and he's starting to hit the ball down the ground as well as square the wicket, which makes it very, very difficult for the captains to set the field. So Ben Duckett and Rashid Khan are the two to watch for me.
All right, we'll wait and watch what happens tomorrow. But I actually want to see what's happening on our prediction game. Do we get points because it's a washed out game? That's just fair, right? We should all get points like you get points when a game is washed out. This is, Michael, for you to see what's happening with our leaderboard because it's your first day. We are sitting there with Mr. Virendra Sehwag sitting pretty at the top with quite a few people who've got bullseyes this time.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen a few, but 4 bullseyes. That's impressive. I don't think we get 4 bullseyes in the whole of the IPL.
Anyway, like I said, we are warming you up into the Champions Trophy. So the next time you come, I'm sure you'll come in with a bullseye. I don't know if we have the bullseye with the joy factor question and if you found the answers to it, but let's have a look at the question. 4 of the 5 cricketers who accomplished this feat are Williams, Gerard Brooke, Stephen Peters and Manjot Kalra, who's the 5th.
Oh,
Any
I think
guesses?
you're right about under-19. Stephen Peters, I think he may have... Did he lift the under-19 World Cup?
No, Manjot Kalra didn't lift the Under-19 World Cup. He was part of the team that was... he's part of the Indian team that won, I think.
Well, you're getting half a point for getting at least under 19 correct. We'll have a look at what the answer is. When Mukchand gets, he got centurion in the under 19 World Cup final. DK, you knew it was getting there?
Not to Unmukh Chand, for sure, like not to a century in a World Cup.
Yeah.
No, I just knew Manjot Kalra is someone that did well in a final. That's how I know him. But I didn't know what else could be correlated to that question.
All right,
That's what makes joy factor questions very, very hard.
Yeah.
It starts somewhere, but there is some connection.
Yeah. But there are people who always get it right. Let's have a look at who's gotten it right today. Abhishek Kaloor has gotten it correct. Well done, Abhishek. Again, I don't know if this is your first win. If it's not, please keep writing in because we like seeing lots of new names coming in. So well done. And Michael, thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry that it was rained out. That's not what we wanted, but it's always fun to see you after so long. DK, I know you want to run away and go. He goes to Dubai. He's going back on ground. So he's a busy man. So we let...
Yeah, DK, you going back to India's home camp in Dubai, yeah?
Well, being an Indian and an Indian team is really hard. There is so much that happens around the team. At times they get to play on tough venues. You know how it is.
I'm sure they're staying in a really, one of those nasty hotels in Dubai. They're not getting looked after.
Yes, that's true. Not too many chefs around cooking Indian food.
Yeah.
Okay, DK, we're going to let you go. And of course, I want to run away soon today to go and watch the Master play because he plays later in the evening. So for all of you who are missing cricket, can go watch the Master play. And we will see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So don't forget to join us there. Thank you so much for watching Cricbuzz Live.